Hi everyone. So today we're going to look at our first lesson in statistics that deals with individuals, variables, and categorical and quantitative data. All right? So before we actually start the problem, let me just kind of define what they mean. So first, individual. In statistics, when we talk about the individual, this basically deals with whatever the data is pertaining to, okay? To what or to whom is this data pertaining to, right? What or whom is the data about? Sorry, there's a lot of lag here. Okay, yeah. What or whom is the data about? All right. So you can say the main character of the data, right? It's basically the main character of the data. Okay. Now, we have what are called variables. And these variables are the characteristics of the data. Okay, the variables, they are the characteristics. And what are the characteristics of the data? So, characteristics of the individual, right? What are the characteristics of the individual? So that's the variables. And these variables now can be broken up into two different types here. One are called quantitative, and usually quantitative data, okay, refers to numerical, okay? All right, and two, which we call, well, there's way too much lag. Hold on. And the second type is categorical. And categorical usually refers to non-quantitative, things that can't be represented numerically. Okay, so for instance, color or um, characteristics of, yes or no, that can be answered using yes or no questions. All right, so I'm just going to say non-numerical for now. Okay, non-numerical. And another way to call it is qualitative. Okay, so we'll start here. So individuals in data refers to what or whom is this data about? Okay, what or whom is this data about? What's the main character? Who's the main character? What is the main character of this data set? And variables refer to the characteristics of the individual. Okay, what are the variables of that individual? If we're talking about people, we can be talking about the heights or weights, eye colors, hair color, etc., etc. Those could be the variables. And there are two types of main variables. One is the quantitative variables, which are your numerical variables. For instance, height or weight, correct? And categorical are the non-numerical, eye color, hair color, etc. All right? So just with that in mind, let's go to our first problem. Okay, so here it says Mr. Gregory sold several cars this week. Here is some data about the cars he sold. So we have the type of cars that he sold, the retail price, miles per gallon, number of seats, and navigation, yes or no. All right, so here it says the individual in this data set are, so what is the main, what does this data deal with? What is the main character in this data set? What are all these things relating to, right? Well, they're relating to the cars, right? The cars, the type of cars. So therefore we know it's got to be cars. And then this data set contains, choose one answer. Okay, how many variables and how many of them are quantitative? So let's look. How many variables are there? Well, we have the retail price, we have the miles per gallon, the number of seats, and whether it has or doesn't have navigation. So there are 4 variables. And out of the 4, how many of them are quantitative? Okay, so let's take a look. Well, retail price, definitely, that's quantitative, correct? Miles per gallon, absolutely. Number of seats, right? Again, that can be any number. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Usually you don't see too many one-seater or two-seater cars, right? Now here navigation, this is a yes or no question, correct? So this would be considered a non-quantitative. Okay, this would be a qualitative, right? Does it or does it not have navigation? So it looks like there's going to be four variables, and one of them is going to be, or 3 of them is going to be quantitative, and 1 is qualitative or categorical. So 4 variables and 3 would be quantitative, and that is correct. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, here, Camille is comparing different apartment complexes. Here's the data she collected. So here are the complex names, the bedrooms, number of bathrooms, rent. Does the rent include heat? Yes or no? And then some of the amenities here. Okay, so again, first thing, the individual. What is this table dealing with? What is it talking about? It's talking about the complexes, right? The complexes. So the apartment complexes here. And this data set contains, again, how many variables and how many of them are categorical. So definitely it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variables. And it looks like 1 or 2. Okay, 2 of them. So 5 total, and 2 of them deal with non-quantitative or categorical variables. So 5 and 2, I think, is our answer, right? 5 total variables, 2 are categorical, and that is correct. All right, let's do 2 more. Again, we're back to the cars, right? Says, again, we know the cars is the individual, 1, 2, 3, 4, but they're asking here how many of them are quantitative. So 4 variables and 3 are now quantitative. 4 variables and 3 are quantitative. And then finally, Madison recorded weather conditions for some major cities on the same day. Here is some of the data she collected. So here are 3 major cities, and we have the high temps in Celsius, the precipitation, average wind speeds, and severe weather alerts, yes or no. So clearly we can see that the individual here deals with these major cities, right? So the cities is the individual, and it looks like we have 4 variables, and 2 of them are categorical and 2 of them are quantitative, right? So 4 variables, 2 of them are categorical. All right, guys? All right, take care.